It is summer reading season, and if you're anything like me, you are always looking for your next great read. However, on this Tuesday morning, you don't have to look too far because you are about to meet the author of a great new book. We are so excited to be joined right now by Courtney Sullivan. This gal is the best-selling author of 6 novels, and I have her most recent book with me, The Cliffs. It is out right now in paperback. Courtney, it's good to see you.
Too. Thanks so much for having me on.
Before we get too much into your new book, please tell us about how our viewers can actually meet you later this week.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm coming to St. Louis. I will be at the Clark family branch of the library. It'll be my second event in St. Louis, and the first one was amazing. So I'm really excited to come back.
We're happy to have you here in the Midwest. You are on the East Coast, and looking at the book, this is also set on the East Coast. So please tell us a little bit about The Cliffs and also what inspired you to write this.
The Cliffs is about a house on a cliff in Maine overlooking the ocean. And it follows all the women who live in that house and on that piece of land over 400 years. And it was inspired by a real house. My husband and I and our friends were on vacation probably 12 years ago now in southern Maine. And we came upon this beautiful house that was abandoned, but fully furnished down to paintings on the walls and a dollhouse in the living room. And of course, we're nosy and went right up and looked in the window. That's how I know this. And every summer thereafter, we would go back and visit the house again until one year, maybe 5 or 6 years into the process, we arrived and found that the house had been demolished, and in its place was the foundation for what was going to be clearly a McMansion. And so at that point, I started writing about the house because I was so sad to lose it, even though, of course, it had never been mine. But I think we all get attached to places in that way.
And I can almost see it the way you're describing it. So I'm very excited to dig into your book. This is now your 6th one. How is this one different than the others you've written?
Well, I think all of my books kind of come back around to certain themes, you know, women and dysfunctional families and female friendship, all kinds of, you know, that New England, they all have a New England setting. This one is probably the most researched. I love doing research. My job before I was a full-time novelist, I was a researcher at the New York Times, and I just can't get enough of doing research. So this one, I think because I started writing it in the early days of COVID, and I was kind of just home with my kids who were not yet 2 and not yet 3 at the time, and my husband and our dog, and that was my whole world. And so at night, I would be going down these kind of research rabbit holes into certain periods of history, and all of that ended up in this story.
And we are so excited to dig into it. Courtney, thank you for being here today. And friends, for more information, you can find this segment on firstalerts4.com/greatday following the show.